それでは再開させていただきます。次のプログラムでは事前収録した映像をご覧いただきます。駐日ミクロネシア連邦大使ジョン・フリッツ様とオリジナル株式会社執行役員高橋政司様による世界遺産が抱える地球環境問題と危機遺産をテーマとした対談です。どうぞご覧ください。
Your Excellency, thank you very much for taking your time today to make our discussion, especially our themes today, environmental issue and World Heritage Site. Before we'd like to talk to these interesting topics, I think I'd like to ask you on Federated States Micronesia and Japan's relationship overall. If I may ask you, Ambassador, your opinion.
Thank you very much, Mr. Takahashi, and it's been a pleasure to work with you. But at the outset, if I may, I would like to take this opportunity to express my sincere gratitude and appreciation to the Executive Committee for the 7th Munakata Global Environmental Symposium, for the kind invitation for me to participate in this 7th Munakata Global Environment Symposium. I'm very honored and appreciative of this opportunity to participate in this format of discussion on the theme of environmental and the World Heritage Site issues. But before we move on, Mr. Takahashi, let me also take this opportunity to pay my respect to the memory of those who have lost their lives due to the COVID-19 pandemic and other natural tragedies. So now we come back to the question of my overview on the relationship between Japan and Micronesia. I am honored and happy to note the excellent and steady relationship between our two countries since the establishment of diplomatic relations over 30 years back. In fact, this year marks the 32nd anniversary of our two countries' diplomatic relations. But we have seen positive developments taking place in our relationship. And we have seen more active interactions and increasing number of exchanges, of visits of our leaders and officials, including the ordinary citizens, as well as youth, children of both of our countries. So for that reason, I sincerely look forward to work with our friends in Japan to strengthen that relationship. But let me go back to history. Our relation is based on historical ties, a very special kizuna that binds our two people, which dates back over 1 century ago, when the early pioneers from Japan came and left their footprints in our islands. And that relationship was strengthened during the time when the Japan government administered the islands since 1914 for about 30 years. Our population today is about 110,000 people, of which 20%, 1 out of 5, is with people with Japanese descendants. And that speaks for itself. Japanese cultural influence is still intact in our local communities, like food, languages, and many other areas, which we continue to appreciate and value as part of our culture. So for that reason, and I hope that we work together to enhance this relationship that we enjoy today for the next generations to come. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ambassador. So I think we have enough reason especially on the historical, diplomatic, and the grassroots, and the other aspects of the bilateral relationship. We also share our sea lane, Japan and Federated States of Micronesia, neighbors and friends, and I think it's good for both of us to emphasize together to the international community how significant or how important is the global environmental issues. So today's ambassador topics, we would like to talk about environmental issue and the World Heritage Sites. And if I may talk about some background of our common interest. In 2016, the World Heritage Committee's deliberations concerning the inscription of the new sites attracted international affection, especially with regard to the Namadol sites and an ancient city in the Federated States of Micronesia, which is located in the Western Pacific Ocean. And this series of islands, it's constructed over the period of nearly 1,000 years from the 6th century onward. Is sometimes is called the Venice of the Pacific. So I think those 21, the members of the World Heritage Committee in the 193rd of the UNESCO member states are proud and welcomed the Federated States of Micronesia and expressed their admiration of the congratulations regarding the inscription of the site, or not only the World Cultural Heritage, but in the meantime as World Heritage in danger. And they did. Why did the inscription of the Namadol attract such high level interest? It was because the site was designated as World Heritage in danger as soon as it was inscribed. And I think the Federated States of Micronesia concerned that it would not be able to carry out the extensive and expensive maintenance measures that are required for the World Heritage Sites, and cannot be implemented without the assistance of the experts and those also the financial support, I think, from the international community. So the Federated States of Micronesia, it's going to take a measure to protect such kind of outstanding historic site, place with value for all humanity over national pride, and it was struck by the sincerity of the discussion. So please share your views on the above and the process of inscribing World Heritage Sites. Your Ambassador, what's you thinking about of this?
Yes, thank you. Let me first, at the outset, I wish to acknowledge and thank our development partners and friends, including Japan, and as well as the committee that approved the inscription of Nanwatol Anter, the World Heritage. This is basically for the great contribution and support that you have provided to my country's efforts in the registration of Nanwatol ruins as the World Heritage Site. Although it was listed under the list of World Heritage in danger. However, FSM was very proud that it was recognized because it served as a symbol of identity of our cultures and people. So presently, FSM, through the Historic Preservation Office, who handles the movement of these programs, have been collaborating with the stakeholders and partners, both in country and abroad, for the implementation of the programs recommendation required by the World Heritage Center that actually include, for example, the environmental assessment, the capacity building, and the entire cleanup and removal of the vegetations at the site and other areas. These are very important process in sustaining and preserving the Nanwatol site. So these are very important program that has been ongoing with the full support of our partners from outside. We thank the government of Japan, especially for its contribution to the Tourist and Information Center, which is under construction now. This is an important component of this program in terms of preservation and conservation of Nanwatol. We take note of the constructive role that Japan can play, and it is not only because Japan has the financial capability, but also Japan can assume an important role or lead in sharing her informations or experience and expertise in this particular field. So we look forward to a time when Nanwatol ruins will fully in operation and open to outside visitors. And we encourage more Japanese tourists and tourists from all parts of the world to come and see the ruins.
Thank you. Okay. Especially, I think the sites of the Nanwatol as a World Heritage sites, also in the meantime, the World Heritage in danger. But frankly speaking, its danger is everywhere in the world at the moment. And we, of course, in Japan, particularly in the area of the Munakata city, and we hope we have 8 World Heritage sites, including Okinoshima Island, and those especially ocean environmental issue. It's most significant task which the executive committee
Right.
is trying to emphasize, around, how we need to support and help the nature and protect the nature, not only, but also how we need to change our circumstances, environmental circumstances. So now, Ambassador, I would like to also ask you to the environmental impact of the, especially for marine waste, such as microplastics and global warming. So you yourself and your government and your country, what about your opinion and your measurements towards such kind of significant issues?
In the question you raised, you've just mentioned that millions of people depend on the ocean for their sustenance. The ocean now is at risk from the implication of plastic waste and global warming. And as you are aware, FSM is an ocean, as a big ocean state, and the ocean is one of our main source of sustenance and a major important to our economy. According to reports, in 20 to 30 years' time, there may be more plastic than fish. And this is a global issue, a critical issue for the entire community of the global to seriously look at take actions collectively in addressing this very important issue. As you know, one nation cannot solve it. No. It has to be a collective effort. FSM, on the part of my country, FSM has taken concrete steps in enacting a law at the national and state level, which came into effect in July of this year. But some of the states implemented earlier. But let me just give you the contents of this law, because it's very important to know. Plastic and Styrofoam Prohibition Law. This is the name of the law. Which prohibit importation of one-time use of disposal styrofoam and plastic food service items and shopping bags. We have a list of these types of plastic that has been out for public education. This is an initial step, and we hope this law will minimize the impact on the plastic waste and the adverse effect to the environment. As we all aware, although FSM is a small nation, it feels necessity that as a member of the global community, FSM has a role to play. And more importantly, this is a serious food security issues, especially for FSM and the small island states, which depend heavily on the marine resources for their own sustenance. But as we continue to address this very important issue, at the same time we are also strengthening our public education and awareness and other related issues through schools and learning institutions with the support and help from the private sectors, including the non-government and non-private entities.
Well, I think that is very, I think, significant measurement which is taken by your government. I think, and I think it's also lead the entire world, because we immediately need to something do a very effective strategy and action plan, how we can reduce the microplastics from the ocean. and so to speak, legally binding measurement. Unfortunately, we need it because I think it's we can go to the beach and collect the plastics, but this is not the ultimate, what can I say, the measurement which we need to do. We hopefully to make a zero production of the microplastic from our daily life, and in the meantime, existing the microplastics do not bring it to the ocean, and how we could make a recycle of the microplastic bottles, for instance. So, but if your government is going to straightforward to make that kind of attractive measurement, I think we need to learn more from you and your government, Japan and other countries, because we share all the oceans.
Right.
So if FSM can do, so we all of us can do too.
Right.
Is that correct, Ambassador?
That's a very good point. You know, this issue has been a long-standing issue for us, as well as I know it's for the international community. But we took upon ourselves as the government to put this into place, so we know what to do after that in terms of enacting this law. So this is a first step, as I said. But I hope that in the long run, other nations will follow steps, especially in dealing with this plastic waste, which has affecting our ocean and the marine resources that we live upon.
Yeah. Okay, Ambassador, that is really, and I think we'd like to see in the future what kind of progress also will be taken by FSM, and hopefully we have feedback from you to time, and after this law or act, it's could be change the environmental circumstances better and cleaner. I hope, last not but least, Ambassador, if I may ask something, if I ask you to, what do you think that FSM and Japan, we are common, so to speak, bilateral strategic partner, two nations that share the sea lanes and could accomplish together. So what we can do together?
Well, first of all, I wish to touch a section of the preamble of our Constitution, where it stated, and I quote, "The ocean brings us together. It does not separate us."
No.
Unquote. And you know that Japan and FSM are connected by the ocean. We are islanders, and we are ocean children. Whatever is happening and occurring on our respective shores, we both feel it.
Yeah.
So the ocean is an important part in our life, and it's also an important part of our culture that we need to maintain. So for that reason, we certainly look forward and have high hopes to work together with Japan to collectively addressing our common interest and concerns in respecting to protecting our sea lanes relate to marine protections and security to counter unlawful and illegal activities and to further collaborate in managing and sustainability of our resources as well as preservation and protection of our coastal areas. So I think that's an area we need to work together with Japan as well as our friends and partners who share the ocean to ensure we implement programs that is benefit to all concerns.
Okay, thank you very much, Ambassador. I think this is just the, what can I say, beginning of our next challenge of, for the global environmental issues. And I hope, Ambassador, if I ask you to, we called this year on 7th symposium at Munakata City.
Right.
And I hope we continue to organize this symposium for future and continue to emphasize the significance of the environmental issues together with World Heritage Sites.
Thank you. You know, it's unfortunate that I am not able to visit Munakata, especially the area where the symposium is held because of this COVID issues, but I certainly look forward to visit that area myself. And since I have been part of this now, and I think it's important we continue on sharing ideas and information how we can improve or work together to improve and come up with solutions to some of these problems we're faced globally. But Mr. Takahashi, I'm very impressed, very much inspired by the introduction of the, Tokuoka culture.
Oh, yes.
Yes, which is very much interconnected and interlinked and connected to the theme of the 7th symposium, the circle of life and our natural environment. You know, we have something kind of similar, especially in the state where I came from Chuk. And this is a cultural practice called Mechen and Pao. When a notable members of the clan or family passes away, the ocean and land that belongs to the clan and family is closed off for a period of time. And that is up to the discretion of the family to make the time frame. But it's between 3 months to 6 months of closure. So Mechen is for the coastal areas. Pao is for the land areas.
Okay.
So by doing this cultural practice, this Mechen and Pao, the areas are strictly off limits. And this gives the areas opportunity to rejuvenate its environmental strength. And this is very unique, and I find it's very unique because, you know, it's part of our livelihood. You know, we live in existence with the environment, and we need to protect our environment. And this culture practice in my country still exists. And it's part of this, what we call conservation and preservation of our culture. So it's, when I see it, I was very inspired because it's something similar that we do have. So I'd like to visit, this is the purpose, I would like to visit the area because I want to learn more about this circle of life and our natural environment, which is Tokuoka. Yes, culture. So
Thank you.
I hope I could visit very soon.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ambassador. We close our talk and very special keyword of the Tokuoka. And if I I think I remember when I was my mission was also to inscribe the Munakata World Heritage Site to the UNESCO list, and I really clearly remember that at that time I emphasized the three very significant keywords, especially on the sites of the Munakata World Heritage. One is the spirituality, the second one is the ecology, and the third one is animism. Yes, I think those three words, SEA, called sea, maybe ocean, and we share the sea lanes.
Right.
And now, Ambassador, you mentioned this Tokoaka in your Chuk or in Federated States of Micronesia, and we believe we're so common and we're so together and we're so close on the spirit of our nature life. So I think, I hope, Ambassador, next year maybe that you will be invited to Munakata and beautiful nature and sea of this island and shrine. I hope that we can talk about furthermore the environmental issue and World Heritage Sites next time directly from Munakata City.
Thank you.
Okay.
I appreciate that.
Okay, thank you very much,
you.
Ambassador, for today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
ありがとうございました。今日はここでお話したところで、一番お伝えしたかったことっていうのは、太平洋の小さな国がですね、素晴らしい決断をして、そのプラスチックだとか発泡スチロールのですね、輸入を禁止する法律を今年の7月に議会を通したと。でこの国にはその自国でその発泡スチロールだとかマイクロプラスチック発泡スチロールをですね、プラスチックなんかを生産する機能を持ってませんので、一回輸入を禁止することになると、今そこに存在しているもの以外は新しく生産して使うことがなくなるということになりますですね。だからこういう法律がですね、国の中で通って、こういう実行できるようなその法律に沿ったですね、制度ができるということは非常に大事なことだというふうに思いますし、そういうものがやっぱり地域でどんどん広がっていくということが僕は大事かなというふうに思いました。いずれにしてもこの会話を通じてですね、一番我々にとってプラスチックという意味で障害だったのは、実はこの口にですね挟んでいたこのマスクのこのサポートの部分がこの唇のところにずっと刺さってて、2人でですねなかなかうまく話ができなかったっていうところが、これもプラスチックの弊害かなというふうに思ったりもしたんですけれども、でもいずれにしても、南太平洋の島々っていうのはこのミクロネシアを含めてですね、日本が付き合っている国だけでもやっぱり15カ国16カ国あるんですね。でこういう国がですね一つ一つの国でこういうものをやっていって、それでその太平洋の中にあるプラスチックなんかの環境を変えていくことに実践的に取り組むような制度ができてくるっていうのは非常に大事だろうなと思って、またこういうものをですね宗像からやっぱり世界に発信していくっていうことは、世界遺産を持っている町として、与えられたミッションの一つなのかなというふうに思いました。今日はご清聴ありがとうございました。
高橋さんありがとうございました。今日はやけにミッションが多い日ですね、高橋さんの本当に素敵な対談で、トコワカと同じ意味の現地の言葉メチエンパオっていう言葉があるですとか、あと高橋さんがですねこんな魅力的な施策を作るあなた方に学ぶことがあるとおっしゃった言葉もとても心に残りました。ありがとうございます。